you love entertainment, current events, and Hollywood, don't miss Creator to Creators, hosted by the filmmaker Meosha, known for the Shudder hit documentary Horror Noir and the acclaimed film Anatomy of an Anti-Hero, Redemption. This show features interviews with filmmakers and creatives from around the globe. Join the fun with guest celebrities and gain valuable insights. Subscribe now and follow Creator to Creators.
Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Creators to Creators Today we have a special guest.
ML Underwood to the building. That's on my line.
Welcome. You know, I love going back to the beginning. I always say the beginning charts our trajectory in life, our little habits we pick up along the way, follow us into our adulthood. Tell me a little bit about your childhood. What was that like? And when did you discover music, or what they say, get bit by the bug?
Well, I grew up in Gary, Indiana. I was in a household where my mom was a Jehovah's Witness and my dad was just a hustler. He was a hardworking man. He's an engineer, which was kind of interesting. At his age, he had an engineering degree and took care of 10 kids, 10 of us,
Wow.
And yeah. I mean, while my mom she never really worked a secular job, but of course she worked. She took care of 10 kids.
Yeah.
And I grew up, going to the halls and the meetings. So I had the best of both worlds. I had, going to the hall and learning the Bible and, and learning, how to be a good, decent human being. And then, at the same time, growing up in Gary, you learn a lot about life real fast because
Mhm.
it's the mean streets.
Yeah, I
you know,
bet.
and then, going to school, I had a music teacher. Her name was Miss Hatcher. Her husband was the Mayor Hatcher of Gary back then, and she was the one that kind of sharpened my musical skills, or had me singing all the time, and have me performing in front of the classmates and stuff. We talking about, I think this was like third, fourth grade. I was real young, doing singing and performing and stuff like that. So I can say it started then, along with going to the hall. Joe Witness, they do a lot of singing, and we have musical books and stuff like that. So
Hmm.
I think the combination of both kind of put the love of music in me. Where once you get the musical bug, most musicians will tell you really never get rid of it.
Yeah.
That's for life.
That's for life. As difficult
That's
as
for
this
life.
business is, it's like you just, you love what you do, you just keep going. So I do love that.
That's right.
Um, I love the music video. I got to watch it and I just thought, being my background originally is a cinematographer. I went to film school, so I shoot a lot of movies on set, music videos and things like that. I started out doing. You opened Still I Rise in a crumbling church. What does that setting say about your relationship with faith, pain, and survival?
Oh wow, great question. Well, you listen to the song. Most people love that song, and they listen to it. So that song took me a while to really put together because I really wanted to be influential. I really wanted to touch hearts with this song. Because at my age right now, I'm like Uncle Marlon, Uncle ML. You know what I'm saying? So it's like my job is to inspire and to encourage the youth. And really, the church was a great, great, great scenery because it just goes to show that despite a lot of things that may happen to you in life,
Hmm.
you may seem devastated, like that church looked devastated. That you can always build it back up. You can always
Hmm.
rise, like in your life. And we did it. If you look at the video, you can show how we were certain areas we were walking. We were showing how the church revived. We brought it back using AI. We brought the church back to life.
Hmm.
Um, and it's the same. It's like a vivid hyperbole. More like an example, or where in your life where you can build your own life up. You just have to put the effort in and do the work.
Yeah. And speaking of AI, it was done right. A lot of people have kind of opinions about AI, if it's good, if it's bad. Um,
Yeah.
what do you feel about now? Like we live in a time where everything is streaming, how people consume music. is completely different from what it was years ago. Um, do you, I mean, obviously you use it, so how do you feel about the nuances and the places that AI is taking technology?
Well, I'm in agreement of it. I'm in agreement of AI. I'm in agreement of especially internet. Cause it's all everything is all perception. It's how you look at it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's and you want to look at it in a positive way. Anything that you can use that can be in a positive light is good.
Hmm.
And as you see, I know you hear, the downsides of AI, what people may say, but I just look at the positive sides of AI. I look at how you can how I use look how I use it in the video, how we was able to show, the church coming to life, or you can people use it in teaching. You can use it like for I got a book coming out, and I'm gonna do a course on this book, and I'm gonna use AI
Nice.
to bring the course out, to bring the course to life, and it's much cheaper. You know what I'm saying? So I try to focus on the positive. But really, that's my personality anyway. I try to focus and see the good in everything, and I expound on that, and I try not to focus on the negative
The
part of
negative.
things because I
Yeah.
don't even think it exists. It only exists when you look at it or when you focus on it.
That's true. It's a great point. Being from Gary, Indiana, a city with both musical legacy and hardship, how does, how did the duality shape who you are as a man and artist? Because you're in such a really tough industry.
Yeah, the industry's tough. It's mean. It's tough. And then in Gary, the population is small, and our resources is none.
Mm,
You know what I'm saying? So for us to even have a voice, for you to even be interviewing me is amazing. It's a miracle.
hmm.
Because the Jacksons, if you think about Michael Jackson and his family, they moved away.
Yeah,
They had to go away to really blow up. And my dad, a lot of people don't know, my dad was one of the, back in the day, the men would come together, they help each other and stuff. He also gambled. Marcus Fairchild was the manager of the Jacksons, so my dad would kind of invest in them, kind of give
nice.
them money to help them go. You know how they used to go and they perform at different clubs when they were young. They needed money to do that, so they would put money together. My dad would put money together with with the father and Marcus Fairchild, and to get them, moving. So, I definitely have some history,
Yeah.
in music, especially been associated. My name is Marla. I was named after Marla Jackson. My
Yeah.
sister, my sister went to school with him. So I guess when I was born, she came to the hospital. Maybe he walked her home or something like that. And she told my mom, name him Marlon, they had a crush on him or something, like rest in peace to my sister Melody, you know.
Aw.
Yeah. And, in the music, if you think about it too, we can fast forward,
Mhm.
in the industry, I was when hip hop came out, of course the internet wasn't around, so we were really heavy into hip hop and rap, but we wasn't seen. I was a part of a
Yeah.
group, the first rap group that got a record deal from
Hmm.
Gary. Like we
Hmm.
talking about rap group, and it was called The Boys. The Boys. It was Ray, Danny, and Preach, and a few other guys, and Rockbox. He was the beatboxers, Honor Turner, and I was 14 with them. Now you can imagine, I'm
Wow.
14 years old. Yeah, and I'm with this group that was the first rap group to actually get a rap deal, and I'm going with them. I'm traveling with them. I'm on stage. And back then, you know, people came and supported performances. So I would be performing and I would look out in the audience and I'll see 5 to 10,000 people listening to me beatbox. you know,
Wow.
yeah, I felt like I was a celebrity at a young age, because after performances, I would be signing autographs and people be coming up to me, for hours just telling me how they liked how I beatbox. And I felt that bug at a young age in Gary. But the problem was the internet wasn't there, so a lot of people didn't know. Only the people in our local area knew how good that we were, and it was until Ray and Danny they went to New York, and that's when they signed the deal.
Hmm.
I think they was affiliated with Tommy Boy Records, and then I think Federal Records, and of course I was too young, I didn't go with them, but that's how Gary kind of um, got his start in hip hop and rap. Kind of
Interesting.
that energy. I was a part of that. I was one
Wow.
of the founders of that. You know, and I'm proud of that too. And of course, after that, I can't forget about Miyagi. Miyagi, Corey King. He was definitely he was a part of another group called Lover Boys, but he
Hmm.
was also moved in the same way. And he was instrumental and as a pioneer in Gary and getting hip hop on the map. And it started with these core groups here. And from there, then you had this momentum of artists trying to make it. It was a bunch of artists. You had Concord, you had MCG. It was just so many different artists coming out of Gary trying to make that didn't get a chance to really get to the pinnacle that they were trying to make it to. But it just started from the foundation of what we were doing.
Yeah, no, that's great. Like you guys were the pioneers of it all, which I think it's so beautiful. And especially in a time, you know, um, we're living in where it's like you said, it's great that you choose to focus on the positive versus the negative in a time where negativity often
Yeah,
sells, right? Why was it
yeah.
important for you to lead with positivity instead of, pain alone?
Well, um, the truth is what you do believe.
Hmm.
So it's like I've come to learn that in life, of course, I got my foundation, the Bible, and my
Yeah.
spirituality. Growing up around that, I come to realize that what you focus on becomes your reality. And so I've learned focus on the positive in things. You tend to elevate higher than others, and you tend to realize your goals when you put them in your mind.
Hmm.
Because there's a system, there's a spiritual system, and there's a universal system to success. There's a reason why some people are very successful and some people don't become successful. It's how they think,
Mm.
and yeah, it's your thinking. It's your thinking. It's how you think because you can think your way into something or you can think your way out of something. It's how you think. It's up to you. And I just developed this strategy of thinking of being positive and being, and driven. And once I put a goal in my mind,
Hmm.
I keep going after that goal until it is realized. I
Yeah.
keep going after. I mean, look at my age. I mean, you should look at my history. I mean, you see the music. I make good, great music. I'm so proud of the music I made at my age. And I kept hitting. I kept going. And here it is. I got this song here with Danny Boy that's going bonkers. It's going crazy. Millions of
Yeah.
people are love this song, and it took all this time to really get that one. I mean,
Yeah.
I haven't made a lot of good songs, but this one though
Yeah.
is unique. This is the one that's. I mean, I have this one is going very far,
That's
farther than
awesome.
what I've ever imagined. Can I ever imagine?
Isn't it interesting how you can have a kind of um a perception of like, okay, this is what I want. This is what I want from, and like you said, it's this particular song that goes off the chart. I was just talking to a producer. He's been in the game for about 30 something years. He's been in like the Stepford Wives. He's in big films even back in like early 90s. And he's 70
Wow.
something years old now. And he was like, he finally got his feature film that he produced with Eric Roberts and Eliza Roberts and a few other people. And he was like, now he's doing, huge guild performances. I mean, everything is like just hitting now.
Yeah,
And I
yeah,
said,
it's hitting.
isn't that interesting? It's like, so you
Yes.
just never know. You can't put
Yes.
a time on
The-
it, I
It's
guess.
the formula. You can't because the universe is in control. The
Yeah.
God, the divine being is in control. And you may want something right now, but it may not be that time for you. Because the universe may know you're not ready now for that. So it could possibly prepares you and gets you ready. And once you're ready, then it's revealed and then it's given to you. And
Hmm.
that's what people fail to realize. They don't understand. They're like, why is it not happening now? Why? Because God is in control. He guys know your heart. The universe knows what's going on,
Hmm.
and they know a lot of times if it's given to you now, it won't work, or it may be devastating to your life, or maybe it may be a disaster. So the universe is definitely seeking to elevate. So if the universe is constantly expanding and seeking to elevate, it's not going to put you in a position
Yeah.
to decelerate.
Right.
It goes against the gravity and the nature of things. It's like gravity. You jump off a building, you're gonna fly? No, you're gonna gravity is going to take its place.
Right.
So
Very good point.
it's all universal laws. Everything is about the universal laws that is in place, and if it's applied in our lives.
Yeah.
Math is applied, science, everything's applied in our lives.
Yeah. I love that. When you say I don't talk about things I didn't live, what's one story you haven't told yet that still sits heavy on you?
Uh, wow. Well, I don't talk about I had a dark phase in my life when I was around like 17, 18, 19. I was always an honor student in high school, and I went to college. And when I went to college, of course my dad passed away by the time I got to college.
So sorry.
So financially I wasn't, there, and I was going to Purdue University. I was majoring in engineering, trying to be like my dad, and it was expensive. I
Hmm.
got there and I was wrestling. I had a partial wrestling scholarship and stuff like that. But financially it was rough on me, and I don't like talking about it too much. I put it in my book. I got a book out called My Life Before and After Entertainment. And I do mention it in my book where I sold drugs. I
Hmm.
sold drugs at college to support myself, and that was a dark part of my life. I made money to try to survive, but looking back at that, I can see that's not me.
Yeah.
To hurt people or to be involved in anything that can destroy another person's life, man.
Yeah.
So that's definitely one that I don't talk about much, but I do talk about it to share with young people or anybody else to help them understand how you could change, and how I was able to realize that that wasn't a way for me, and I got out of that real quick.
Yeah. I mean, I mean, hey, I think it's super inspiring. And you think about people like, Jay-Z, coming from Marcy Projects and the
Yeah,
things that he's
yeah,
done. And he's a billionaire now. It's like, whoa. So, yeah, people can change. And I think our hardships and those parts that we are so afraid to talk about or share are definitely a
shape you,
part of, yeah, yeah, definitely.
shape,
Because I think
yeah,
this
shape.
industry is so, being in the industry as an African American woman, and being in, certain rooms with people, you start to see like this game is really tough and you have to have tough skin to endure.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, you probably, you just keep pushing, because I'm listening to you and I'm seeing you're very intelligent American woman, and you
Thank
just
you.
got to just keep pushing, and just keep doing
Yeah,
and try not to get discouraged. You're gonna get discouraged. You're gonna have, roadblocks gonna come your way. You just keep pushing. Just as we were talking about earlier.
yeah,
Eventually, the universe opens up. Your time will come where what your goals you're trying to realize will be right there in front of you.
absolutely,
It'll be
absolutely,
realized. You just
absolutely.
can't give up. You can't give up, because see, this is the crazy part about life.
Yeah,
If the minute you say, okay, I give up, you don't
mhm,
even know that the next day was your day.
yeah,
Right when you gave up,
yeah,
the next day you don't even know was the day that the God of the universe, that divine being, opens up the goal that you've been trying to achieve for the last 20 some years. But guess what? You didn't fight long enough, and you're not going to get it because you didn't fight one more day.
that's true. That's so true.
So,
That's
so
good.
you just never give up.
I love it.
Never give up. I don't listen to what nobody says. Oh, you too old. You this and that. But this song I just did with Danny Boy proves that I'm not too old, because I got all
Absolutely.
kinds of young people. I got young people. I got all kinds of people, all races. I get inbox from Mexico, Colombia, everywhere. People telling me, I'm talking about young people, and they're like 19, 20, 21. In fact, my fan base that listening to this song the most is
Yeah.
the age from the age of 19 to 28.
Nice.
That's the biggest numbers, from 19 to 28.
I love it.
You know,
I
so that's
love it.
beautiful.
Yeah.
So I don't listen to none of that, propaganda people, because here it is. This song is proof, that because it's science. I look at it as science. I mean, we go to our family reunions with our family. We don't sit around and just listen to the young people. No, the young people sit around. We listen to the uncles and the grandparents
Yeah.
and the grandfathers. It's the same with the music. It's the
Yeah.
same with music. We're not at our age sitting around just listening to this young music, which we appreciate it,
Hmm.
but we have to be some music, motivation music, which is the music that I make, that a person can listen to as though they're listening to their uncle or listening to
Hmm.
their grandfather or listening to their grandmother. There has to be that lane, and that's the lane that I created.
I love that.
Everybody else have their lane. You got the thug lane, you have the thug life lane, killer music, they have the drill music. You have all different types of music that creates this energy. But what about the motivation music?
Exactly.
Motivation music. That is number one on the list. All of us need motivation.
Absolutely.
Every being. So I created that lane and said, hey, that's what my music is, motivation music.
I love it. I mean, because, as we see today, what we're going through with all the things that are happening in the world, people need something to escape, and put on.
Yes,
Yeah. So
yes,
thank you.
yes, yes, that's true.
You mentioned meditating on your lyrics. What does that process look like for you spiritually and creatively?
Yeah, words are powerful. The Bible talks about how words, your tongue can burn down, relationships and all kinds of things. So I'm really careful of the words in the song that I'm presenting to this vibration that I'm putting out there in the universe.
I like that word.
So I work with, I have a partner that I work with, Khan. His name is Young Khan the Don. His Damon Jones. He's I call him the greatest rapper alive. You know what I'm saying? He from Chicago. He started with a group, Soldiers at War. They single-handedly sold like 200,000 CDs out of their trunk, which
Wow.
no one heard of it. No one talks about it, but they did this, before Master P, was doing that,
Mm,
and it was successful. And of course, this music industry is it's up and down. And we found each other because he was selling his CD on the streets of Gary, and that's how we found each other. And once I realized how talented he was, we just collaborated and we work on these lyrics together. These
nice.
lyrics that in all of my music, we come together like we're performing surgery. I mean, we really come, yeah, we come together and we meditate together. We think. I send him ideas. I send him, if pretty much the thought process of how the lyrics should go, and then he lyrically put it in a form for me that fits my voice, that fits my character, and it takes us a while. We sit down and really, really put this together before we present it to the world.
I love
And
it.
which you could tell a lot was put into the lyrics of the
Yeah.
song.
Yeah. And in bringing in Danny Boy added a nostalgic, almost like timeless energy.
Oh
Um,
man,
I love
yeah,
that.
Danny Boy, yeah, he is amazing. His voice is healing.
Yeah.
I cry every time I hear the song.
Mm,
I cry every time. It's every time. I just cry. Tears just fall down my eyes. His voice, um, it's like icing on the cake. It kind of elevated the spirit of what I
mm,
was trying to present. It elevated it 10 times or 100 times more, where people was able to feel the words of my lyrics even more because of how his voice was presented on this track.
mm-hmm,
And so both of us together, man, that was just magical, man. I tell you, hearing how he was singing "Still I Rise," and oh man, and the way he was presented it was just amazing, man.
That's awesome. I have a fun question that I love asking every guest on the show, and there's no wrong answer, I promise. Um,
It's
the
all right.
the three levels of influence: money, power, and respect. If you could choose only one of those things, which one would you choose and why?
Um, I'm more fond of. I'm not a person, with my background. I realize what money is just a tool, and I know that power can be dangerous. So I would say respect.
Okay.
I would say respect, because I put in so much work in this industry, so, heart, sweat and tears, or the kind of work I put in. There's some people put the same kind of work I put in that are billionaires right now.
Right.
Actually put less work that I put in that are billionaires now. And I'm not a billionaire, but I want the respect. I want the respect. And the reason why I say that is because I love this. And it take a lot of, work and sweat and tears to put together projects to influence.
Mhm.
And I'm getting it. People, I respect. This is what I love more about than the money and everything, is the response that people are inboxing me, the comments on my YouTube, the
Mhm.
video, Still I
Yeah.
Rise, the things that people are saying. That
Mhm.
is so much respect. You can feel the respect, and you can feel the how you touch the hearts of individuals with the song, and that right there is just the biggest to me. Yeah, I would say respect. I know others may choose money, but because or power and stuff like that. But with me, I'll say respect, because God has blessed me. I do live in a nice home. I do live well. My wife, was very successful with her business. She has so I'm not like an artist that's struggling, that's trying to make a living. You know what I'm saying? I'm not.
That's a lot of artists.
Yeah, yeah. That's all of them. I'm in a different lane. Like I'm and I'm not saying I'm bigger or better. It's just that I'm in a different lane because I've already established I'm at retirement and I'm doing
Nice.
something I love.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and so I'm more big into the influence and how I'm affecting hearts. That's
Mhm.
big to me.
Yeah.
That's bigger than anything to me.
That's beautiful. People are calling this a new Black anthem. Do you embrace the responsibility or does it weigh on you?
I embrace it. I was trained for this. I
Yes.
see what God has been doing. I see. A lot of times when you get into something, you're like, man, what God tell me? People be
Right.
talking to God. What is it? What is it? But as life progresses on, you start seeing like, oh, I see, I see. I was trained for this. This is, I'm fit for this kind of. I'm ready for this
Yeah.
kind of, because I'm ready to keep making inspiring songs, and I'm ready to keep doing this because this is what I've been trained to do. I was raised to be a minister.
Beautiful.
I was giving talks at a young age. At the age of 8, I would sit up and read the Bible and teach, and in front of hundreds of people, give talks. And which I mentioned in my book too. Later, I did become a Jehovah's Witness. I wasn't. I became an elder, and I really moved high up in the organization at one point, and teaching, and until I departed.
Hmm.
But all those skills that I gained through that process, I now see that I'm able to reach more people than ever before doing what I'm doing now, but putting it in music.
Yeah. Because, music is a universal language.
That's
And
right.
it goes beyond, anything, color, national, anything. So you're doing beautiful work. Thank you so much for sharing your gift with
Thank
people.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
If
Thank you.
someone watches Still I Rise, 10 years from now, what do you want them to feel about this moment in your life?
I just want them to feel the same effect that they felt, that most people are feeling now when they first listen to it.
Yeah.
This That's another thing people say about my music. They call it forever music. They say this music.
Nice.
They say your music is forever, man. It's not. Some songs people put out and then it dies out. Like,
Yeah.
but the music, and it's like, all right, it's over with. It had its time. This is the kind of music that lasts forever. It doesn't ever get old. It
Mm.
will never get old. It will always touch hearts of individuals that listen to it, because it is heartfelt. It was created from the heart,
Yeah.
and it takes one heart to reach a heart.
Mm.
So,
Mhm.
all of my music was created from the heart. It wasn't just created, out of something else. It was all from the heart, and that's why it will always touch hearts.
That's beautiful. Thank you so much for coming on and chatting with us and sharing your journey. This is so fun.
Thank you.
Um, where can people find you on social media to follow everything you have coming up?
Well, I'm on Facebook. My Facebook page is open. It's ML space Underwood. ML Underwood. You'll see me on Facebook. I'm real active on Facebook. I think my biggest crowd is on Facebook, but Instagram too. I'm on Instagram under the company name, which is My Life Entertainment. It's one, you got to type it all, no spaces. It's just My Life Entertainment, and you will run right into me. I'm active on Twitter and, but it's not that active, but I'm there. Um, and, but my website, yeah, my website is www.mylifeentertainment.net.
Nice.
Www.mylifeentertainment.net. I do have my music is distributed through Empire. I was blessed to be able to get a deal with Empire distribution deal with Empire Records, which I'm thankful for that. Shout out to them and my team. My Life Entertainment on Facebook as well. I have two pages, My Life Entertainment and ML Underwood. They're pretty much connected. So
Nice.
I'm just thankful. I'm just thankful.
Yeah. I mean, I was honestly trying to avoid that topic of distribution because that's a huge one in the entertainment world. Like finding good distribution that can, where essentially you can kind of cut out the middleman and just like basically what Tyler Perry did was do it without Hollywood so he can have more money and progress and where he is now. But that's a whole nother show. So congrats on the
Yeah, that's
distribution.
true.
I think a
It
lot of
is.
people love the music world and want to get in and it's like you realize, oh, it's a business as well. It's a other whole other thing. But thank you so
That's
much
true. That's
for
true.
coming on. It was a pleasure. I had so much fun. Come back anytime. And yeah, thank you guys for listening. And always
Yes.
remember to live, love, laugh. Go play the song, run it up, run those numbers up, and support.
Yes. Still I rise. That's on my life.
All right, bye bye.
Appreciate it.